Thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasiros. I talk about politics, sports, and entertainment to keep you well rounded what's going on around the world. If you don't like hearing the truth, then definitely don't tune into this channel. So let's get started today. I wanted to give some advice to Kaitlin Clark. Kaitlin, instead of going on television apologizing for being white, you need to take some boxing classes. And the next time some basketball player decides that she's going to intentionally sharpen her fingernails to try to gouge your eyes out or foul you in an unprofessional way or do some cheap type of garbage, or after you foul somebody and it's legitimate because you're trying to win a game and they try to come after you and turn up, here's my advice to you: take some boxing, stand your ground, and punch them right in their face. And then maybe it'll stop. That's my advice to you, Kaitlin. You don't need to go on TV. You don't need to apologize for being white. Guess why? Because they're going to hate you no matter what. Angel Reese, her mom, you know where Angel Reese learns all her hate from? Her mother, because her mother is the same exact way. And then you have clowns like racist Ryan Clark and woke ESPN, a bunch of grown men also picking on a white female. They could care less if all these women attack Kaitlin Clark, poke her eyeballs out. Where's Ryan Clark's outrage when a woman takes a fingernail, sharpens it intentionally, and tries to jab Kaitlin Clark's eyeball out, and everybody celebrates on the sideline? No outrage then. Could you imagine if the role was reversed? If a white girl intentionally sharpened her nail and tried to put it in a black female's eye? Oh my God, the world would literally explode. There would be riots in the streets. Things would get burnt down. There would be looting. Racist Ryan Clark would be on TV with tears coming down his face, and it'd be some, civil rights. We'd have to get a history of civil rights. But since it's Kaitlin Clark, and she's a white female that's never did anything to anybody other than try to be the best basketball player, and she's white and she's the best player in the WNBA, it's okay for everybody to hate her guts, try to intentionally hurt her and foul her. And I wouldn't expect anything less from the coward piece of garbage racist Ryan Clark, because this is the same guy that he always challenges all these old white men in the fights. Chris Russo, Skip Bayless, guys that are old enough to be his grandfather. I'll tell you what, racist Ryan Clark, hopefully when I get a little more famous on YouTube and people know me, because right now you'll just say, who the hell are you anyway? And people start to know me. You can pull up on me and we can videotape it. We could do it legitimately in a boxing ring. And you know what would happen? You'll be face down on the canvas, and your two boyfriends, Fragile Fred Taylor and Cockhold Channing Crowder, will be peeling you off the canvas and bringing you to the hospital. So instead of picking on old white men and girls because you're a coward, try picking on a man that can't stand you. And I don't give a F. I hate Ryan Clark. It doesn't bother me. Just like he hates everybody, I hate him. I hate Ryan Clark's whole entire existence. His existence is this: I'm going to go on TV. I'm going to divide everybody by race, call everybody else a racist. And then when somebody calls me a racist, I'm going to call Al Sharpton and cry and pretend to be the victim. That's exactly what racist Ryan Clark does. He's a piece of garbage. I don't even see, when I think about ESPN, the amount of money that they're paying him, and everybody knows that ESPN is losing ratings and losing money. ESPN must want this clown to cause racial division in America, because when you listen to him talk for 5 minutes and you even have like this much common sense in your brain, you're going to hate his guts. So I don't care how it sounds. You hate him? Yeah, I absolutely hate Ryan Clark. No, I don't care. I could care less what you think. Him, the whole persona that he does. This is Ryan Clark. This is racist Ryan Clark. He's one of these so-called Christians or Baptists. He goes to church. He jumps up and down. He rolls around on the floor. He gets all emotional. And then he walks out of church and he thinks, and then he'll take the Bible and he'll manipulate it to anybody that's not black is evil and soulless and godless. And he's just he's so superior to everybody else because they're godless and only he's godly. Ryan, I don't know what church you go to. I don't know what Bible you read, But there's one thing that God hates more than anything, and that's a person that causes trouble and division amongst the brethren. And trust me when I tell you, when you no longer on earth and you stand before God and you have to give an account to the platform that he gave you and you do the things that you do, you're going to be in hell. See, racist Ryan Clark will stand before God and be like, I'm a god, I'm so holy. All these crackers and the soulless devil crackers are just all so evil. You're going to be going to hell, Ryan. You know why? Because you're full of shit. And here's another thing. I'm not one of these people that doesn't think racism exists. Of course, racism exists, but it's not just a one-way street. It's not just white people who are racist. There's black people that are racist. There's Asians. There's Hispanic. Everybody has racist in their races. But what's everybody's definition of racism anyway? I don't. If somebody's having a bad day and they call me a couple names, regardless of what it is, I don't think they're a racist. Now, if they try to attack me, kill me, or rob me because I'm a certain race, then yeah, I think you're a racist. But racist Ryan Clark, he's just a racist to his core. And you see, there's a lot of guys that like racist Ryan Clark that feel that, oh, if you're black, you can't be racist because of the past. I've heard this urban legend before, and here's my answer to this urban legend every single time. So a couple of years ago, you had a young, like 5-year-old kid in North Carolina and a black guy. I'm not even going to mention the piece of garbage's name. He walked up to him and he did, you know what? And the kid's no longer here anymore. And they asked the guy, why did you do that to him? And he said, oh, because he's white. If you look me in the eye and you tell me that that's not racism, you're a piece of shit. That's what you are. And that's something that racist Ryan Clark would come up with. And you know why he's mad at RG3? Because RG3 said it exactly the way I said it. They hate Kaitlin Clark. They hate her for 2 reasons. She's white and she's the best basketball player in their league. And the WNBA loses about 40 to 50. They're in the negative with making money. The only reason why people go to these games is to see Kaitlin Clark. And all the other players absolutely hate her and despise her for this. Wait, the person that's giving you a job, because you would all be out of a job if it wasn't for Kaitlin Clark. If you don't like what I'm saying, too bad. Nobody's there to see you. Nobody's there to see Big Bird. Nobody's there to see Angel Reese and her racist mom and her racist ways. Nobody gives a shit about you. They're there for Kaitlin Clark. And your feelings are hurt. Oh, that white, you know what? This white cracker, da da da. We all know why you don't like her. And I don't care. I will call it how I see it. If you're offended, good. Be offended. Don't care. So RG3 came out and said the same thing that I'm saying. This has nothing to do with basketball. And racist Ryan Clark lost his mind. And you know why he lost his mind? Because another black person told the truth about another black person's behavior. And in racist Ryan Clark's mind, that's not acceptable. You must go along with the lie. You must be part. See, for the guy that acts so godly all the time and he's so much, you can't be godly and operate in lies and division every single minute of the day. So all you're so godly is a bunch of bullshit, Ryan Clark. You're a fraud. You're a piece of garbage. You think you're holier than thou. You think you're superior to everybody. And in reality, you're just a racist piece of shit. If you don't like my language, I don't usually curse when I make my videos, but I don't care. That's exactly what he is. So let's let racist Ryan Clark, he's going to try to defend what he said to RG3 after he attacked RG3 for defending Kaitlin Clark. He went after RG3's kids. He went after his wife because they're half white and his wife is white. See, Ryan Clark has a problem with any black athlete that's married to a white woman. He cannot stand Patrick Mahomes, but it'll just all get overlooked because the god, racist Ryan Clark, he's a god. You're all beneath him. And you should bow to him. And if you don't bow and worship him, then you're a racist. So let's let racist Ryan Clark tell you.
To being able to read the expressions of a person and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate because I think he also understands the hate of self. When you look at the play, which is all we
RG3 hates himself because he married a white woman. Interesting. That's why he said that.
can speak to as professionals, all we can speak to as analysts. Angel Reese pushed
Fragile Fred Taylor, he just gets it right. Whatever you say, man. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Hey, you're black. I'm gonna agree with anything you say.
one of her teammates. Kaitlin Clark had a hard foul, which is part of basketball. I feel like it was assessed correctly. And Angel Reese's reaction is the sort of reaction you get in a situation when you feel like you took an intentionally hard foul. That's competitiveness. That's rivalry. That's not hate. And so now, though, when RG3
A racist Ryan Clark, the time that Kaitlin Clark got her eyeball gouged out by a sharpened fingernail, if Kaitlin Clark would have got up and punched that girl in the face, what would you have called that? Because that was deserving of that. That would be deserving of an assault for trying to poke somebody's eye out just because they're white. But you know, racist Ryan Clark, his low IQ brain, he can't accept reality.
jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train and now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy as they poured.
Nope, none of that's racist. It's just a stereotype. See, racist Ryan Clark's racism and Angel Reese and woke ESPN, that's not racism. You're stereotyping them according to Ryan Clark.
On to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Kaitlin Clark's heroic or hero story.
Right.
The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what black women have to endure in this country, about what young black women.
Interesting. RG3 doesn't have to have conversations about what black women go through at home. His kids are mixed and they're going to be perceived as black in the public because that's what usually happens, right? And then you're going to make me believe that RG3, he didn't come from a black mother. He doesn't talk to his mom, sisters, or aunts, something racist that they might have been through. I wouldn't expect anything less from Ryan Clark.
Women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Kaitlin Clark's rise and ascension into stardom. Now, when you look at it, I think A'ja Wilson is the face of the league. A'ja Wilson is the best player in the league. Kaitlin
A'ja Wilson is the face of the WNBA. Okay, Ryan. Yeah, okay, racist Ryan Clark. That's a good one. Yeah, that's why the stands are filled with people when Kaitlin Clark plays certain teams, right? They can't even sell the tickets when she doesn't play. But see, this goes back to racist Ryan Clark. He was a free agent of the NFL. He wasn't drafted. And it's always amazing when white players come on his show where he talks about white NFL players. Hey, racist Ryan Clark, listen, there's so many white players that are better than you and got drafted over you and had their careers been a million times better than I can't even name them all. You're not a god, Ryan. You need to get over it, Ryan.
Clark is the most important player in the WNBA. And a ton of her fandom has come along with some racial bias or some racial pieces to why people love her so much. And so now, if you're RG,
Nope. If you're white, you're not allowed to cheer and root for a white player. That's racist. How dare you? How dare you support? If you're a white person and you support a white player, how dare you?
when is the last time within your household
Clown.
you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with? You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what black women deal with.
Racist Ryan Clark knows what RG3 talks about in his home or to his mom or aunt or cousins, right? Fragile Fred Taylor said there, yeah, right, bro. Right. Okay.
What they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back amening and clapping. And so to me,
I knew that Robert Griffin put his wife in the background on purpose just to trigger this idiot. He's so dumb. He can't figure out that was done on purpose to trigger this moron because his IQ is like negative 35.
just another situation that now this young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media
It's corny to you, but maybe he liked it. Maybe he likes milk. That's his prerogative. You like chocolate milk, whatever. This is what I mean. The God, Ryan Clark. Everybody should bow to what he's saying.
color of his wife's skin. as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady, I've had a conversation with her.
Well, lucky
I think
her.
she's more than that. But it also leads to what Black women deal with a lot from Black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over Black women by denigrating Black women.
Oh,
I feel
boy.
like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand.
Really? Men and women at this point, regardless of race, are so negative towards each other because everybody thinks they're the reason why the relationship failed. But that would mean that you would have to not be a racist piece of garbage like Ryan Clark and just think objectively without making it racial 24 hours a day.
That Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Kaitlin Clark is as well. Kaitlin Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the Black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And I think this is what I'd like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racist,
Microaggressions, big
he'll
word.
be no less Black than me.
Yeah, RG3 doesn't think he's Black because he married a white woman and just told the truth about another Black person's behavior. So now he's an Uncle Tom and he hates himself and he wants to be white, according to racist Ryan Clark. And that's exactly what he's saying. How this guy is employed is beyond me. The thing about it too, if Caitlin Clark was Black, oh my God, she would be, the second coming of Michael Jordan. But since she's white, they absolutely hate her guts and despise her. And only racist Ryan Clark will put on the blinders for all that hate. I got two things to say to racist Ryan Clark. You're a piece of shit and go F yourself. Thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasiros.